So it really bothers me when people, like, they will say something about a certain population of people that they know absolutely nothing about. And so I was online today, and someone had posted, and I think they were from a foreign country, and they were like, I feel really, really bad for the women in the United States because Donald Trump is president, or something along those lines. That was the gist of the comment. And I just thought that was really rude. It's like, dude, I voted for Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump doesn't hate women. Why would I vote for somebody who hates me? Like, I wouldn't. I've looked into it. Oh, so Donald Trump said pussy. Okay, look, I just said pussy. Grab them by their pussy! Does that make me some sort of, you know, person who's committed sexual assault just because I've said that? Like, my dog's not afraid of me. Obviously, I'm not that terrifying of a person because I said grab them by their pussy. I mean, so I just can't get upset over words. I'm sorry. I just don't care that much. I mean, context and meaning have a lot to do with it too. It's like the whole grab them by the pussy thing. Like, first off, depending on the situation, I'd be pretty much up for that. If it was like some rich, attractive guy, like, yeah, like, who wouldn't? Come on. I mean, if there's a chance that you're going to become Melania Trump, like, why wouldn't you? It's just like, dude. And it's like this conversation I had with another woman online. It's like, oh, yeah, because, you know, Ivanka and Melania, they're so abused. Trump is so evil. Such a horrible, abusive person to women. His daughter's running such a successful company. Obviously, she's abused to have been the daughter of a billionaire who obviously loves her very, very much and has taught her. Come on, people. Trump doesn't hate women. Why would he put women in positions of powers in his companies if he hated women? I mean, come on. The worst thing that Donald Trump has really ever said to a feminist is, when asked, if you become president, will men and women make the same amount of money? And his response was, if they do as good of a job. Worst thing he's ever said. And that's completely and totally fair. And that's what I like about Trump. He doesn't pussyfoot with women. He doesn't baby us. He says, yeah, if you can do a good job, I'll put you in positions of power. I mean, look at Kellyanne Conway. I mean, you know, say whatever you want about Kellyanne Conway or her biases or how she does her job or whatever you want. But she's got a really important job, you know, and obviously Trump thinks she's competent, and she's very clearly a woman. I don't think that person has ever not been a woman. So this whole argument is just stupid. Trump doesn't hate women. And and the other thing is, if you're going to go from, like, him wanting to cut, like, funding to, like, Planned Parenthood or whatever, I mean, that's not a I hate women thing. It's more of a I hate abortions thing. If you look at, like, especially, like, the type of people who support that type of thing. And before, you know, I know there's people on both sides of it, and I think there are valid and good arguments on both sides for why abortion should be allowed and why it shouldn't be allowed. And I think a lot of times there's just, like, caricatures of the other side that's being played out, you know, like, so I'm anti-abortion, just in general. I mean, I'm the type of person who would make certain exceptions or whatever, but I'm more of a fan of let's not get pregnant in the first place, or let's use adoption as the alternative. But I'm a big fan of, you know, the concept of birth control, especially, like, IUDs, since you don't have to remember to take your pill every day and stuff like that. They're a lot more effective. Anyway, so just those sorts of things you want to, I mean, that's personally where I would go with that, is like there's some exceptions out there for abortion, like if you're raped, if there's a situation of incest and abuse, stuff like that. I don't think generally abortion is what we should be going to, but that's my side. And there's other people who would make a lot more well-reasoned, well-argued arguments for why abortion should be just made illegal, period. Or something closer to what I think. And then there's other people who can make well-reasoned, well-argued arguments for why abortion should be legal. Now, I think both sides don't listen to each other. You've got to recognize, you know, there's just facts that neither side want to acknowledge, or that they ignore, or I don't know. It's hard to talk about abortion anyway. But the whole anti-abortion thing has never ever been about anti-woman. If anything, a lot of the anti-abortion advocates would actually say that abortion is bad for a woman, and their argument would be that it's bad for society as well. And I don't know. Like I said, both arguments should probably be looked at if you're going to argue that. But it's definitely not anything anti-woman. Changing the healthcare isn't anti-woman. I mean, women just aren't oppressed in our society. If anything, women are kind of running things right now, and I don't like it. I mean, yeah, sure, there's still more men in positions of power and stuff like that, but every single day I see businesswomen, I don't see stay-at-home moms anymore. I just don't see that as often. And if I do, they're usually foreign here in Portland. I mean, everybody just kind of has to work because we don't really have any other choice. It's so expensive living here. And I mean, I don't see how it's a good thing for our economy to be so messed up that, or for things to be so expensive that a family can't survive off of just one income. I don't know. I think that's kind of messed up. I don't see how that's particularly pro-women. And quite frankly, with the tax cuts that Trump's was talking about during his election campaign, and all the budget cuts that he's been proposing and stuff like that, I can't imagine that doing anything but improving the economy, along with, you know, deregulating the market. Maybe at some point we'll actually be able to get to a point where working is actually a choice for a woman instead of a necessity. I would actually like to get back to a point where a man, by his choice, can't afford to support a stay-at-home mom, you know, his wife, if he chooses. At the same token, being a stay-at-home mom should be, you know, an option for a woman. And I say this because I'm very much a pro, you know, gender roles type of thing. I really do think that men are better suited for the workforce and that women are better suited for the household, and that's dependent upon the different personalities and the different abilities of each person. I'm sure there's some women who will go after more effeminate guys who will probably be better at home, whereas they'll be better in the workforce because they're more aggressive and a little bit more masculine than the average woman, or something like that. My point is that it should be a pure choice, you know. Women have given up a lot in order to join the workforce, and it's not that I can't do it, right? It's kind of that I don't want to do it. I don't have that competitive streak to go start like a business or become head of a major company. Like, my thing is, like, I've got woman brain right now, and the only thing I can think of is, like, baby, I can see why for the longest time women just didn't work, you know? And that's not even true. I mean, you go back to even the 1800s, you had, like, seamstresses and all of these things, and you had a few women who were, you know, breaking through different barriers in society, and those were good things. Like, you got, like, I don't know, Madame Curie, for instance, is probably one of the best examples of a female, you know, leader who broke through social barriers just doing what she wanted to do. I mean, who would suspect, like, a female scientist at that time? And I don't know much about Madame Curie. I think she was more focused on her work, though, than any sort of feministy type thing. I mean, there's certain women out there who you can look in the past and see, oh yeah, these women have definitely done it. Okay, well, at a certain point, it became very obvious that there were some women out there who were extraordinarily capable, and it came to the point where we got to the place where it's like, okay, yeah, men and women can hold the same jobs and do just as well. You have to pick the right man and the right woman, of course, but they can do it. All right, great. We got there. Women, we did it. We can throttle back now, okay? Stop complaining about it. You can do those jobs if you have the ability to. Understand that. You can do those jobs. You can. Trump's not going to take that ability away from you. And I don't know why people insist on feeling bad for me that Trump's president. Like, no, I see this as a good thing. Especially if more women are able to return to the household and do what they choose and want to naturally do, which comes to them naturally. And it just kind of, this topic takes me off too. Mainly because you have people out there who believe that having a relationship with traditional gender roles, you know, where the woman wants to stay home and be the homemaker and the stay-at-home mom and whatnot, that's looked down upon. The man being the dominant, you know, figure in the household, which there's arguments for and against, you know, male-led households, and really, though, that depends on each individual person. Look, some people just work better with gender roles. I personally think I'm one of those people. I want to be that homemaker and stuff like that. And I know it can work because what did societies do for X amount of years, and didn't that work out? There were, you know, some people who had dysfunctional families, but you have that in every generation, every society. And if you look at our society right now, we have more dysfunction in our society now than we did when men and women were treating each other and viewing them through the lens of gender roles. Come on. Like, no, I think we need to bring the gender roles back. Obviously, they were a stabilizing force in society in some way. And I'm sure you could look up other people who could explain that better to you, too, on internet. Stefan Molyneux's someone that I've listened to a lot in the past, and he's got a lot of great information. I would, you know, of course, take it with a grain of salt like you would with anybody. But he's got a lot of great information if you want to know any more about why gender roles are actually a good thing. And stuff like that. I would look into his discussions about male-led relationships and marriages if you want to know more about that. No, but people think they just think it's inherently unhealthy and wrong because that's what the leftists have been saying forever. And I don't understand it. I don't understand how something that was so natural and has been occurring for, you know, hundreds and thousands of years, why suddenly it's just wrong. It's just unhealthy. Oh yeah, it's so unhealthy that we did this throughout our evolution for literally thousands and maybe millions of years. Yeah, it's really unhealthy for us to follow in our natural instincts. That's so unhealthy. It's unhealthy to do the things and pursue the things that we think is gonna make us happy, or that we know is gonna make us happy. Like, I've known since I was like 4 or 5 years old that I wanted babies, like lots of babies. I've always known that. I've got definite woman brain. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. That's why I talk about it constantly. And I apologize for that, but it's just always there in my mind. I have a lot more optimism for the future now that Donald Trump is president. And I know a lot of you liberals out there won't understand that. But I see this as a good thing. And I am hoping that as the paradigm shift continues to take hold, that I'll have more and more decent men available to me to choose from in terms of a mate, because, oh my God, the way things are just terrible. I can't run into, you know, anybody but, like, you know, fuckboys around here, so I don't know. And here's the thing, like, as much as people want to make Donald Trump out like he's some sort of, you know, playboy millionaire, you know, like, I don't get the impression from him that he's really that much of a fuckboy. Like, he seems pretty devoted to his family. Like, I don't know. Same token, I wouldn't suggest that he would any particular billionaire would necessarily be 100%, you know, loyal. But then again, he did marry Melania, and she's fucking gorgeous, and she's still fucking gorgeous, and he's like 70, so I don't think he's doing any hanky-panky running around on her, at least. I just don't get the impression that he's off to, like, ruin any of his marriages or his relationships with any of the women in his life, and I think I heard that he's actually still, like, good friends with his ex-wife. I don't remember her name, but it's Ivanka's mother. And the mom of his sons as well. All the kids except for Barron. I'm pretty sure they're still friends, although she's the type of woman who you know, you don't mess with, because she's gonna take you for all your money. That doesn't surprise me that Trump would choose a strong, independent woman who's going to steal all of his money when she leaves. That just doesn't surprise me that Trump would do that. Trump likes successful people. He likes aggressive people. He chose that woman to marry because there was something special about her. You gotta understand that. Like, Trump's just not gonna choose somebody because they're pretty. I mean, Melania is especially beautiful, but I'm sure she's incredibly intelligent as well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have chosen her. Especially to be the mother of his children. I mean, this is a smart guy. I don't like being told that people feel sorry for me, you know? Don't feel sorry for me. Things are just about to get better for women like me. Are you kidding me? I'm excited. Don't take that away from me, you douchebags, just because you don't like Donald Trump. Like, fuck you. I like Donald Trump. I like what I think Donald Trump is going to do for this country. So, you guys can suck it. Just piss off. Like, stop with your negativity, go crawl in a hole and cry yourself to sleep. I just don't want to deal with you anymore. I'm going to tell you this first and foremost. I feel like I'm a strong, independent woman. I voted for Donald Trump. I think he's going to do good things for this country. Do not feel bad for me. You have absolutely no right to feel bad for me. Instead, what you should do is go do some actual research and learn a few things about our world and about the U.S. government and how it has been being run. Because there's some really corrupt, really shitty things that's been going on in our society and in our government, and that's the reason why Donald Trump was elected. And I see this as a really good thing. And so for you to get on your high horse and sit there and tell me that you feel bad for me when I have so much optimism, like, fuck you. Like, go suck your cock or something. Or suck your boyfriends or something like that, because you're not a real man.